If you renew early, usually you get the best rates or a lot cheaper rate, unless they have like a special going on later on. But usually the first rate that they have, the first time that they do renewals, that's the lowest rate that you will ever get.
So whenever I'm moving out of an apartment, I never pay my last month of rent.
But you need to read the fine print on your lease. Your $1,300 rent will turn into $1,700 real quick, and you'll be stuck with it because you didn't read all the extra fees.
Good day, good afternoon, good evening. We're not going to waste any time. We're just going to get right into it. Today, we're going to be looking at mistakes renters make when it comes to these apartments. Let's go.
Ms. Johnson, your balance is $9,847.63. Unfortunately, I cannot accept a partial payment of $5,000 on your account. And the reason being is because you will still be like $4,000 behind, close to $5,000 still behind. So I understand that you are trying to get caught up on your rent and you have some financial hardships, but unfortunately we do not accept partial payment. Once you do have the full balance of $9,847.63, then I'll be more than happy to accept that, and then I can renew your lease, and we will love to keep you as a resident here. But unfortunately, we do not accept partial payments. However, what I do recommend is you reach out to some local churches in the area and see if they do accept partial payments. But unfortunately, we do not accept partial payments for you. And Ms. Johnson, is that dog on the lease agreement? Because after reviewing your account, I do see that you are not paying for a pet. And we have to make sure that if you do have a pet, you have to pay for it.
Oh man, somebody please get rid of that dog. But this is how they do. They don't care about nothing but the payment. They won't even take a half payment. They want every cent right then and there. They're probably going to start trying to evict you. Probably going to start trying to get you up out of there. That dog too. If that dog is not on the lease, that dog can't be here. Y'all already know how the game go. This is exactly how it is. A lot of these young people, they get in here and they're not understanding that, there comes consequences when you don't pay. Your monthly payments to your lease, that adds up. Now look at you. You're $9,000 in debt.
Rent is such a crock of shit. My lease is coming up and I've been watching. This place has over 30 available apartments and the prices keep going up every day. Where are you coming up with these numbers? And don't come at me with, well, you could get a roommate because, Karen, you don't even like living with your husband. So shut up. Don't tell me who to live with. It's so frustrating seeing that 1-bedrooms are the same prices as 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and 2-bedroom, 2-baths. So people with families that have multiple incomes can actually afford it, but single people, you just are going to price them out. And no, I don't want a 2-bedroom, 1-bath or a 2-bedroom, 2-bath because I don't need that extra space. I want to pay less. I want to pay what a 1-bedroom should be.
I actually agree with her. I do feel like everybody should be able to afford an apartment. If you work, you should be able to afford an apartment. If you're out here every day putting on that monkey suit, going in and working for a company, giving away time that you know you cannot get back, you're putting in the time, you're putting in the work. Why shouldn't you be able to get an apartment? Rent should not be your whole paycheck. I've been stressing this. I've been saying this in my previous videos. It shouldn't cost an arm and a leg to live. People need to live. Y'all are driving people to go live in their cars, man, because they can't afford an apartment. But yet they work over 40 hours a week. Make it make sense. So I'm with her. The rent's rising. Can't get in nowhere. Y'all are squeezing out everybody. I'm kind of curious to what's going to happen once y'all squeeze out everybody and now y'all got nobody to get in y'all apartments. That's kind of what I'm sitting back waiting to see. Like, what's going to happen with that?
Did y'all know you could get evicted from paying your rent too late too many times? And let me explain what I mean by that. It's a little bit different when you rent in a house versus when you rent in an apartment. Did you know that you can literally get evicted, be given like a 30-day notice, or even if it's an apartment complex, they can straight up tell you when it's time to renew your lease, you don't even get an option. We're not renewing your lease because you were late too many times. And when I say late, I don't mean you're going into eviction status, eviction filing every single month. I mean, you literally paying late every month to the point to where you really just hitting in between the threshold of between the 5th and when they got to go to file eviction date. And even worst case scenario, because I know people love to hype up renting a house. Oh my God, you ain't got to deal with neighbors and da-da-da. That's so much better. When you are renting somebody else's house, You do know that they can give you a 30-day notice for whatever reason and say, I want you out. I want you out. I literally am going to sell my house. I want you out. You got to find somewhere else to live in 30 days. Just want that to sizzle in your spirit. When it comes to you contemplating on whether you want to pay that rent or fool around in these streets.
All right, so there are a few things we got to break down, right? All right, number one, she is correct. Hey, y'all need to pay y'all rent. That's just the bottom line. Stop paying the late. I get it, time is hard. But how are you ever going to get ahead if you got a bad track record? Like, no one's ever going to rent to you if you're paying everything late every single time. Every single bill you got, you pay late, you can never pay on time. That's a big issue. Number two, there are new laws coming out in May. I'm making a video about this as we speak. There are new laws coming in May. Landlords just can't pull the rug up underneath your feet like that no more. There are so many new laws coming in place for these landlords. It's going to be a different ball game come May of this year. I really want y'all to understand that. Get that through y'all heads. Y'all might want to start preparing. Y'all might want to start getting y'all stuff together. Look into these laws. Look into these new landlord laws, man. Starting in May. And trust, I got the video coming. Y'all would not want to miss that.
If you didn't move into your lease agreement on the first day of the month, do not give your landlord the full first month's deposit. A lot of people are missing out on saving money on their first month's deposit simply because they didn't ask or inquire about the prorated rent. If you're to move in on the 12th, right, but usually that condominium, they do their payments on the 1st, why are you going to pay for the full month if you didn't move in for the full month? Prorated rent isn't something that's guaranteed in Ontario. You yourself should ask, or get an agent to represent you to ask on your behalf to ensure if that's even available or if that's an option. And I could say it to you, but I'm just going to show it. This is essentially how you would calculate it. These are avenues, these are options to save money in real estate, but you just have to know which options are available. So yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are already aware of this, but for the people that aren't, I'm glad I could just give a little insight.
Oh, man. Crazy, right? Ever since I've been getting apartments, there's always been a thing called prorated rent. I've never been told that I had to pay the whole month because I moved in halfway through the month. It's always been prorated. Canada, what's happening? My man said in Ontario, it's not promised. It's not promised that you're going to get prorated rent when you move into a new apartment. Y'all are out here charging folks for the whole month, even when they move in on the 15th. They move in on the 16th, on the 20th. Y'all still charging them the whole month? Whoo. Like, we got some stuff we got to talk about. And that's what I be saying, man. It's time for some discussions to be had, held, whatever you want to call it. There's too many adults sitting around letting this type of foolery happen. Why am I going to pay you for the whole month when I wasn't even here for the whole month? Make that make sense. Crazy work. Crazy work. Shall we continue?
This is what happens if you don't pay your last month of rent. So whenever I'm moving out of an apartment, I never pay my last month of rent. I feel like I've heard a lot of people doing this, and this is the reason why. First of all, they already have your security deposit. And that basically covers the last month of rent anyway. Now, I know what the landlords are saying about that, but for real, don't listen to the landlord. First of all, your landlord cannot evict you for only missing one rent payment. Second of all, you are moving out anyway, and you probably already got approved on a new place. Alright, but here's what's actually gonna happen if you do this, as somebody who has done it many times. If it's a cool landlord, you ain't gonna hear anything. They're just gonna take your security deposit and run. Now, if you got an asshole landlord, and I've had a few of these, they might call you up, tell you they're taking you to small claims or some shit like that. My advice is to just ignore them, because even if you get a judgment, you don't gotta pay them. They can't put a lien on your house if you don't have a house. So don't worry about it. And seriously, they're gonna take your security deposit anyway.
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, don't be like this guy. Do not do this. Number one, it will affect your credit. And so what if you got an approval on that new place? Why even have credit if you're going to just screw it up year after year instead of building it up and keeping it up? Because people get new apartments every freaking year. Gotta renew their lease every freaking year. People are finding out every year that they can't renew their lease. So now they're gonna look out for a new place doing stuff like this. Yeah, they have a security deposit for a reason. The security deposit is supposed to be there in case any damages occur, right? They're supposed to have that money just in case they need to do painting. They need to repair some carpet, some cupboards, walls, doors, windows, screens, blinds, any of those things. That's kind of what the security deposit is there for. You do not want to not pay your last month of rent just because they have a security deposit. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to accept that as full payment anyway. So what are you doing? Just messing up, screwing up your credit. Do not be like this guy. Pay your bills, be an adult, get your ish together. In 2026, you need your credit. Don't screw up your credit. You never know what you might need to go get a credit card for, apply for a loan for. You never know. And now you're stuck. Can't do nothing because your credit's messed up, people. Get your credit together. That should be one of the main things that you take away from this. And also, don't be like this guy.
If you're about to get your own place, you need to watch this video. Here are a few first-time renter mistakes that you need to avoid. Not reading your lease, like actually sitting down and reading. I know it's 60 pages, but you need to read the fine print on your lease. Your $1,300 rent will turn into $1,700 real quick, and you'll be stuck with it because you didn't read all the extra fees that were listed. You sign that lease, it's over, you're stuck. Not documenting the condition upon move-in. You move in, I mean before you move a single box in. You need to take pictures of everything. You need to list out everything that may look wrong with the apartment. Scratch on the door, any type of little nick, cranny, dent. You need to take a picture and write it down. Because you move out, you're gonna be blamed for it. And this is coming from someone who used to work in property management. You single-handedly charge people for things as small as nail holes in the door. Not asking about pest control. You to make sure that your complex has pest control, especially in older buildings. You know how those around you live. They could bring bugs into your place because if you don't have pest control, good luck. Never, ever, ever trust the model unit. Not move in after only seeing the model unit. Even after seeing your unit, the place where you'll be laying your head. Model unit is meant to be a model. It's cleaned weekly, it's painted to perfection. That's what the apartment complex wants to represent to the community. Not mean that your apartment will look like that. They won't let you see your apartment. You do not need to move into that.
Man, she is so right. Everything she said is on point. You always, always, always document. That's what I tell everybody. Document. These places are shady. They want people to move in, but they are doing the most shadiest things, doing the most shadiest tactics to get people. Story time. I moved into a place when I was younger. I was 21, 22 years old, just moved down here. I was 22 years old, just moved down here from Michigan. I thought I was set up. I thought I was getting a dope apartment. The apartments were spacious. At the time, they were affordable. I thought it was a win-win. I get there to view the apartment. They do exactly what she just said. They showed me the one that everyone is supposed to see, the model. Never saw my apartment. Never seen it until the day I moved in. You know what happened when I moved in? I walked in that unit. Stove didn't work. Refrigerator didn't work. AC was falling out the wall. Roaches. I never got out of a lease so fast in my life. I didn't even move my stuff in. My stuff stayed out in the U-Haul. Craigslist was popping back then, so I was able to find another apartment to move into literally the next day. Oh, man. She is correct. Always, always, always document. Always, always, always make sure that they're showing you the unit you are supposed to be moving in. Do not let these people play you because once you're in, you're in. And it's a whole lot of trouble to get out of it. Court dates, you name it, man. It's going to be hard getting out of it.
Know your lease break policy. Know how much it will cost and what will happen if you need to get out of your lease. Things happen, life happens. They won't let you see your apartment. You do not need to move into that place. You need to know your lease break policy. Know how much it will cost and what will happen if you need to get out of your lease. Things happen, life happens. You may need to get out of your lease early. If you can even pay to get out your lease, you need to see what you can do if anything were to happen and you need to leave your apartment, how much it will cost, what will be. As someone who broke a lease before, that is extremely important. You need to ask about guest parking. Are they gonna get towed? You need to know these things because they excited you're in your first place and you may want people over and outside in their cars towed and they're gonna hate you and they're gonna wanna never come over again. Just ask. Last but not least, ignoring online reviews. 20 people shoot if 5 people say that complex has roaches. Listen to them. You need to trust them and believe them and go on to the next place. Those are some first-time renter mistakes. Hopefully with the help of this video, you can avoid. Congratulations.
Oh man, you know how many people actually do not do their research? Do not look at the reviews. This lady is right on. Look at the reviews. Believe these people. Now, I'm not saying everything because there are some detractors. There are some people that just don't want to leave any good reviews at all. Everything is always a negative experience. I get that. But if you're saying the same thing over and over again, don't rent here, don't rent here, don't live here, don't go here, roaches, bugs, rodents, crime, you might want to listen. You don't want to get up in that lease and you start seeing everything that you read on the reviews is true, and now you stuck in that lease.
Here are some common leasing mistakes from somebody that's worked in leasing for over a year and a half. Number one, biggest one, not renewing early. Basically, renewing is keeping your apartment for the next lease term, and a lot of residents tend to do this later. The reason why I say that's a mistake is because if you renew early, usually you get the best rates or a lot cheaper rate, unless they have like a special going on later on. But usually the first rate that they have, the first time that they do renewals, that's the lowest rate that you will ever get. People wait months on top of months, and then they end up having a rate that's actually higher than the rate that they already had for their rent. So just renew early. If you know that you're going to be staying there for another year, just renew as soon as it comes out. Number two, and this is specifically for student catered apartments, waiting for financial aid to pay your rent. Do not do this. The reason why I say that is because you do not know when financial aid is going to send you your refund check. There is no reason why you should be renting an apartment and not knowing when or how you're going to be making your rent, because we've seen it happen, especially in my apartment complex. Students are relying on their refund check to pay for their rent, and that refund check takes over 2 months. They don't have no money to pay for those 2 months that they were waiting for the refund check. Make sure to have at least 1 month's rent on top of, waiting for your refund check, just in case things happen, because they can happen and they will happen, especially if you go to an HBCU. And then the last leasing mistake that I'll say in this video, not checking your emails, especially from your property. Always make sure that your apartment complex's email is in your address book, in your Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, whatever you may use. Because the amount of times that we hear in our apartment complex, oh, well, I didn't check my email. Check your email, because you don't know what is going on your property, and most properties use email to get in contact with their residents. You might miss out on new parking passes. You might miss out on a deal going on for your apartment complex. You might miss out on giveaways. Check your emails always. Anyways, y'all stay safe, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Hey, how y'all feeling about that? Y'all like that? Let's talk about that. I want to know. Inquiring minds would love to know. She's on point. You could tell that this lady works in a leasing office. You could tell she sees these things on a regular. She sees this stuff daily, man. Keep all of your ducks in a row, guys. You don't want to be out here caught lacking. Please, don't use financial aid to pay your rent. Don't do that. Like she said, you don't know when that money coming, and now you just out here dangling in the wind waiting on that refund. Don't do that. You want to keep your stuff together. You don't want to be out here just free balling, man. It's not a good feel. And with that being said, if you made it to this point in the video, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys are truly a blessing. Y'all are rocking with me. Y'all are watching my videos. Please keep commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing. We are building this thing from the ground up, y'all, and it is starting to look amazing. Going into week 3 of this thing, and we are making strides. Let's get it. Like I say, and like I'm going to always preach at the end of my videos, it's time for you to start working on yourself, getting your ducks in a row, getting your savings, building up your money. I don't care if you got to invest in gold, silver, stocks, whatever you got to do. Get yourself together. You want to be ready. You don't know when your number is going to be called. We don't know how long this is going to be for. Get yourself together. But hey, what am I? I'm just your simple messenger. This is Q signing out.